இந்த IFNRCON 2024 கான்ஃபரன்ஸில் இனாகரேஷன் ஃபங்க்ஷன் நடந்தது. இந்த இனாகரேஷன் ஃபங்க்ஷனில் ஜிப்மரோட டைரக்டர் டாக்டர் ராகேஷ் அகர்வால் சார் சீஃப் கெஸ்ட்டாக இருந்தாங்க. நம்மளோட பிரசிடென்ட் ஆஃப் வேர்ல்ட் ஃபெடரேஷன் ஆஃப் நியூரோ ரீஹாபிலிட்டேஷன், அதாவது உலகத்தின் நரம்பியல் மறுவாழ்வு சங்கத்தின் பிரசிடென்ட் அவர்கள் இதுக்கு ப்ரிசைட் பண்ணாங்க. இது இல்லாமல் இந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸில் இன்றைக்கி நடந்த இனாகரேஷன் ஃபங்க்ஷனில் டாக்டர் யூ மீனாட்சி சுந்தரம் சார், டாக்டர் அபிஷேக் ஸ்ரீவஸ்தவா சார் அண்ட் IFNR உடைய பிரசிடென்ட் டாக்டர் நிர்மல் சூர்யா சார், இந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸோட ஆர்கனைசிங் சேர் டாக்டர் சுனில் நாராயண் சார் அண்ட் ஆர்கனைசிங் செக்ரட்டரியாக நானும், பரஞ்சோதி சார், டாக்டர் பரஞ்சோதி சார் பேன்ஸோட பிரசிடென்ட் அவர்களும் இந்த இனாகரேஷன் ஃபங்க்ஷனில் பங்கேற்றிருந்தோம்.
Today we mark the beginning of the culmination of our nearly 1 year of planning and last 3 months of rigorous activity in organizing this 12th conference of the Indian Federation of Neuro Rehabilitation. The entire concept of giving the due importance to neuro rehabilitation was not in the significant medical microscope until when this global burden of diseases took a focus on the neurological diseases, and in the 2010 to 20 years, the global burden of diseases, when it was published in 2016 GBD study, it was found that it specifically looked at what is the burden due to neurological diseases. We all felt it's a significant burden because brain is composed of permanent cells with very little ability to regenerate or repair itself. So we see a lot of sequelae to neurological diseases right from a very early childhood due to intrapartum problem and genetic problems, and throughout due to various infections and injuries of the brain, and later on degenerative disease like dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. But we still didn't know what is the actual relative impact or burden of the global neurological diseases in the entire health scenario. So what these studies brought out was very interesting. First, it was found that the second commonest cause of death was due to either neurology-related injuries or due to diseases, and it is the number one cause of disability among all disabling diseases. So they also looked at any change in trends between the neurological diseases. And this was a very important, 11 papers came out in Lancet Neurology, and around 256 diseases were, 256 countries data were collected, and a large number of all the neurological problems, the major 28 neurological problems were covered, and they found that there are diseases like tetanus, meningitis, encephalitis. Their incidence was, the deaths due to these diseases were decreasing despite some epidemics of encephalitis happening in pockets. But of course, stroke as a major problem, headache, especially migraine and other headaches, is a major problem. Dementia, Alzheimer's and other dementias. These diseases were significantly coming to the forefront due to aging population, and also due to the population itself growing. And the brunt of these diseases also found to have a very interesting trend. There was a gender difference. What it showed was many of the neurological diseases are more common in men, but there were some of them very prominently more in women as well. Also, it was found that in young people, neurological diseases developing was a growing trend. So with these scenarios, around 440 DALYs were due to 440 million DALYs were due to neurological diseases. Around 23 life years were lost due to a million life years were lost due to neurological diseases. Around 9 million deaths were happening yearly due to neurological diseases. So there was a significant burden due to neurological diseases. The second commonest cause of death and the number one cause of disabilities. So this being the situation, there was another last and important point, we found that around 85 important etiological risk factors for health, maintenance of health, or for health deterioration was found out. And of these, except for stroke and vascular dementias, for the rest of the neurological diseases, none of these 85 common other risk factors for the other system diseases were applicable to neurological diseases. So we have to look at neurological diseases slightly different angle from the way we look at the rest of the systemic disorders. And here, so we have to change the way we look at etiology and also the prevention of neurological diseases, and that was highlighted. Now let me, after bringing out this importance of neurological disabilities and the importance of this conference, it is my very pleasant duty to welcome all of you are gathered together for this important cause. And it is my great pleasure to welcome our esteemed director, Dr. Rakesh Agarwal, for his time. We all know in JIPMER how precious it is and how he values every second of his time. And he has set aside some of his very valuable time and joined us. And thank you very much for joining us today. We have with us Professor Homberg coming all the way from Germany. Volker Homberg is a very well-known name in the international neurology scene area, especially his specific passion and focus for the disabled due to neurological problems has been admired and respected by the world over, and he has been a really leading light in this campaign against neurological disability, and we will hear more about him as he addresses. Now, Dr. Nirmal Surya is again another, sir, welcome you, sir, for the for today's function. So, coming to Professor Nirmal Surya, very few people in the olden days took up neurology itself, and then to take up neurorehabilitation as a specialty in neurology was again even much less common. So during those times, Professor Wadia was a doyen of Indian neurology. Under his inspiration from Mumbai, Dr. Surya took a early pioneering leadership in neurorehabilitation as a subspecialty in India, and that has really gave a lot of impetus to the development of this specialty in different parts of India, and he has actually put India on the neuro disability map by his various programs and the very active Indian Federation of Neurorehabilitation in its activities. He is also the not only the president of IFNR, but also the Asia-Oceanic Society of Neurorehabilitation, and of course he has still some more very important milestones to come. Thank you, Dr. Nirmal, for taking time to come all the way from Mumbai to attend this important function. Dr. Guhan Ramamurthy has been my right and left hand. He is a very energetic, dynamic young neurologist who has had a fellowship immediately after his neurology from Institute of Neurology, Madras, and he had his training in Singapore under the WFNR's mentor-mentee schemes, and there are a group of these mentees have been developed in India to lead the neurorehabilitation in India, and certainly Guhan Ramamurthy is one of the most prominent young promising person for him, and I have seen him working very hard and very intelligently during the last 3 months. And Guhan, thank you for joining us. In Pondicherry, we chat over neurology and we discuss neurology and have some relaxation every monthly under the aegis of the Pondicherry Association of Neuroscientists. And this is being presided by Dr. S. Paranjyothi, the senior-most neurologist in Pondicherry. Dr. Paranjyothi, thank you very much for joining us today evening. We have the Indian neurorehabilitation subsection, which is a subsection of the Indian Academy of Neurology, is also working along with the IFNR in the annual yearly program. And today with us, the Secretary of the Indian Academy of Neurology, Dr. Meenakshi Sundaram, has come. Dr. Meenakshi Sundaram, again, is a doyen in Indian Academy of Neurology. He has been the Secretary of Indian Academy of Neurology for long 6 years. People don't want him to leave because he has been very sincerely, very hardworking secretary for the last 6 years. And he has found this time to join with us also. Thank you, Dr. Meenakshi, for joining us today, this evening. Dr. Abhishek Srivastava is the subsection's chairman in India, and he's also the IFNR secretary. It's not surprising that he can actually have many hats over his head. He works in the Ambani Hospital in Delhi after his MD from NIMHANS, Bangalore. And his center has set up one of the very best neuro-rehabilitation centers in India, and it's a place to go and watch, actually. I think, and of course, the most important people of this conference are its faculty and its delegates, and we have had a very tremendous response to these workshops and conference this time. The total delegates have touched around 850, including so that's probably a record, I believe. I think the credit to a great extent goes to the institution's name as well as the growth of the Indian Federation of Neuro-Rehabilitation under the headship of Dr. Nirmal Surya and Dr. Abhishek. And I hope you are going to have a very enjoyable learning experience in these 3 days, and also some enjoyable experiences, extracurricular, outside this campus, seeing the beautiful town of Pondicherry. Please be safe when if you try to step into the waters, but enjoy the good French cuisines and also the old colonial ambience we can see in some parts of the town, and also the beautiful parts of Tamil Nadu and its cultural epitomes. Many of them are here inside this city. Please do enjoy Pondicherry, and I welcome you all once again for coming out today. Thank you very much.
Japanese encephalitis is reported from Pondicherry only in India. And the first case of subarachnoid hemorrhage was reported by Dr. Gopalakrishnan in Pondicherry only, supported by the French investigations. So in this French territory, you can enjoy the love and affection of the people of Pondicherry and also from us. Pondicherry Association of Neuroscientists was started in 1992 by me, a single neurologist and pseudo-neurosurgeon. With a handful of physicians, we started about 20%. Today, we have got 20 neurologists, 20 neurosurgeons, and plenty of physicians. We were conducting every month continuing medical education. This is most important for all the physicians and neurologists and neurosurgeons now. Throughout this period, we have done a lot of work, including several conferences, and one such conference is this one. And the Pondicherry Association of Neuroscientists president for 32 years, because though no rival against me. 32 years I am the president, and continuing. Still, we are always helpful to the people of Pondicherry in delivering the neurological services, in creating awareness, in conducting medical camps, and attending all the needs with the support of so many institutions. I must be very thankful to the director JIPMER for the unconditional support to all our academic activities. Probably this is the 10th time I am speaking here. So we will be continuing our medical education in future also. This conference is peculiar in the sense that in all our conferences, we will have only discussion about disease. And the treatment of any neurological illness is over after giving a discharge slip. But this conference is beyond the discharge slip, because after the discharge, people are aware that we are with you till your death. By giving rehabilitation, we do not blame them. You have got a paralysis, nothing could be done, you can take home, you have got a problem, I cannot help you. In this connection, I must thank all the persons, physiotherapists, psychologists, other persons, for giving an unconditional support to us in delivering a good life. After all, the patient gets benefit, and we are happy that patient goes home happily. With these few words, that I must be very thankful to the World Federation of Neurology, especially Indian Federation of Neurology, Professor 𝐸𝐵𝐸, who is instrumental in starting this, because nobody ever thought of giving a rehabilitation, because all our focus is only for the hospital treatment, and we'll be managing them happily. Outcome in the home, after leaving the hospital, what happens to the patient in the home, nobody knows, God only knows. But here, we are with them for the lifelong. This is started by the Professor 𝐸𝐵𝐸, supported by Abhishek and Guhan, and assure you, sir, we are also with you, and we will start our work with a full vigor and vitality. Thank you very much.
Rehab. Medicine is about three aspects. Treating aspects are three. One is the preventive things. The other one is the curative thing, which we as neurologists are part of. And then there is the rehabilitation part. So something you do before it comes, something you do after it has come, and something you do after it has passed. The disease has passed, and then what do we do with the leftover, whatever it has left behind? So this is a very important wheel or spoke in the wheel, if you would like to call that. Now, many years ago, I was in an EAN Congress, and the EAN president, it was actually a real wake-up call. I'm talking about 20 years ago, and this was a meeting in Portugal, and the EAN president then presented a study. This was on people who are in locked-in state. All of us give up on locked-in state, and the first thing that comes to mind is, poor thing, what a terrible state to be in, can't move their hands, can't move anything apart from their eyes. That's when it's called a locked-in. So one would be tempted to think, is it worth living at that time? But then there was a study that was done asking them, the importance of how happy, for these are people who are in rehab for at least 3 months since, let's say, whatever caused it, most commonly a stroke in the Pontine region. And these people were asked a simple question: how happy have you been over the last 1 month? Mind you, this is 3 months after the event had happened. How happy have you been over the last 1 month compared to your happiness levels throughout your life? And surprisingly, almost 80% of them said they're happier than they've been. That to me 20 years ago taught me never play God. Even though you're sometimes you can get carried away. One can get carried away because of euphemisms and other things that patients, encomiums, they start pouring on you, and you start thinking like people call God of cricket. So you think you're God. No, nobody is God. There is a life there, and it's everyone's right to live, and it's important that you do whatever you can. You are here to only try do the best that you can. So from that day, my only thing to all the patients always been, I have only been taught to fight till I can do nothing else. And that's the only way I've been telling patients from then on, and I think that helps. So this study is, I think, reflective of how one must never give up hope, one must never presuppose somebody's reaction to illnesses, and know that hope is always there. Well, there are some wonderful friends here, but the president of IFNR, the president of the PANS is a very good friend, the grand old Dada of Pondicherry. He's been 3 generations, he's been here, Professor Paranjyothi. Dr. Nirmal Surya, the president of IFNR, is a very long time friend. No, just because I say these two are long time friends, please don't jump to conclusions about my age. I'm not that old. I think that I must point it out here. Nirmal was president of the IAN, and I was the secretary during that time too. And managing Nirmal was like managing an hyperactive child. That's restless, running around. You have to keep pulling him in. No, don't go there. Don't go there. No, you can go this way. This is safe. It was always that. And 1 year I had a hell of a time. He kept me fit. And that also, yes, quite appropriate that we are both members of the IAN runners group. We started this in 2017. It's doing very well. The target is very simple, at least on paper. 2,000 kilometers a year. It looks like 3 kilometers a day, but many people don't even cross 800. So there is a group of about 70, 80 people who would at least do 1,000, and there are people who run 25 kilometers every day too, among the neurologists. So there is someone who does 25 kilometers every day. So this is how motivating. So another common thing that connects us are that we are brand lovers. No wonder that he has this brand of, okay, what brand suit are you wearing, what's that shoe, and what's this tie? So it happens with both of us all the time. So it's no wonder that he has brought this brand to a society like IFNR. This is what Nirmal brings in. And having seen him from close quarters, seen his passions, we have been faculty together in many, many botulinum toxin workshops. Now, including way back, we started, I think we had one in the Army, R&R in Delhi. About 22 years ago, 2000, 2001, Professor Kumaravelu called us. And I think we've been injecting, and so I've seen his passion for that, and no wonder that today he is the president. I'm sure he is going to climb up the ladder and do more and more for this subspecialty, with him in the best. The other person I must talk about is Dr. Guhan. Dr. Guhan, whatever he does or doesn't, part of it will also reflect on me, because I am in some way responsible for him coming into neurology, I suppose. So I would, I'm very happy to see that he is an organizing secretary of a meeting like this, and being an organizing secretary is not an easy job at all. You can't be doing anything other than doing F&B. F&B is food and beverages and taking care of hospitality. I think that's more than a handful for an organizing secretary, and he's doing a wonderful job. You will only get better and better doing more conferences. Best wishes to you, Gugan. Will you do many, many more conferences? Dr. Sunil Narayan told me way back in October itself, no, I missed you for the last meeting, so you better be here for the inauguration this time. So actually when Nirmal called me, I said, no, I already marked my calendar. I can't say no to Sunil. This time I'll definitely be there. So thank you very much for all the invitation, for all the kindness, for all the wonderful hospitality that you have provided. I wish the IFNRCON, it has been a very good, very, very great success. I was surprised to see the attendance in the cognitive subsection, the activity, the workshop that was going on. Excellent arrangements. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
With IFNR every year. In that conference also we do a one-day symposiums primarily with the subsection. The first meeting, joint meeting happened in 2016 in NIMANS, Bangalore, and since then we are working every year with the IFNR to do a good conference with good academic content. Even this year, organizing secretary, Gohan, is our convener of the new area of subsection. So we are working so closely together with the IFNR to provide good conferences every year. We also conduct one symposium in IFNRCON every year. And the last time was a very popular debate, session we did in last time. We do awareness programs every year on World Stroke Day, World Disability Day, Brain Awareness Week, PD, MS, all we do good awareness programs. As you all know, neuro rehab requires a multidisciplinary team. We work with the multidisciplinary team members. We do joint meetings in Indian Academy of Physical Therapy, Occupational Therapy, Psychology. We work with them very closely together, do a symposium in their conferences also. And what we don't know, every neuro rehab subsection member is also a member of WFNR. We are paying requisite fee. We represent, like IFNR, all members of the subsection also are members of WFNR, and they're represented in multiple forums in ASNR and WFNR now being members. Being a chairperson of the subsection, I have to send sincere gratitude to the previous and past president and secretaries of the academy, current president, Professor Debashish, current secretary, Dr. UMS, for always supporting our initiatives, and Dr. Surya, the IFNR president, to always bless us and promote us to do good work. Thank you very much. Long day subsection of IFNR and subsection of IAN. Thank you.
What a privilege for India. Professor Michael taught the chair of Special Interest Group, World Federation of Neuro Rehab. I also lead one of the special interest group in WFNR, the Developing World Forum, which covers 139 countries across the world. So one of the biggest forum today. The Madam Chen from Singapore, whom I met during the rehab week, and she has been running the fellowship program, and we are working on to get some special fellowship program for Indian students who could go there for 6 to 12 weeks or 3 months at a low cost and could learn the neuro rehab, and we are working out. And all of you who has faith in the IFNR, many of you have become member. I must say that when 2010, many of you who are present, I know Urvashi Gaurish Palande, who is the director of IFNR, Dr. Katpal, who was also there in Goa, all of them initiated that we need to have a organization. And 80 people came around and they paid 1,000 rupees and they said, you lead. And that's how the IFNR was formed in 2010 and registered in 2012. It is a charitable organization with ATG and 12A. It has got today 540 members, out of which 40 are founder from AT and rest all are life member. There are 5 associate life member too. We have discontinued that because we want everyone to become the member. IFNR is affiliated with both Asian Oceanian Society of Neuro Rehab as well as WFNR. We pay regularly for each member of IFNR to the WFNR so that they get all the privilege as a member in the WFNR. Professor Volkar has been very kind. I have been associated with WFNR right from the first Congress in 1996 at Newcastle upon Tyne, and I was very much there when WFNR was formed, and I presented a paper. Ever since then, I am one of those regular. 2006 onward, I have been representing as regional vice president of the Asia from Hong Kong. I have also been a member of LARGE for last 4 years. I will be completing my term at WFNR. At December, I got elected as president. I've served as secretary for 4 years in the AOSNR, and it is really a privilege not only to serve India, but Asia, but the developing country across the world. I have been able to get the people together, particularly during the COVID time, and you will all know, and many of you have attended, that from 5th of April to the 4th of May, the 1 month, the regular webinars which we conducted, and we had people across the world. The Zoom link would get over in 5 minutes, and our YouTube would have more than 5,000 people attending. And we really came out with some wonderful paper on education training during that. And tele-neurorehabilitation emerged as one of the most important tools which we have been advocating. I have been able to form the first neurorehab OPD in this country when we started first multidisciplinary OPD in the neurorehab in one of the municipal hospital, medical college at Nair Hospital. And that's where the concept of multidisciplinary team arises. We were the first to start the music therapy session in 2010, and today we are on a way to start the neuromusical therapy with the academy, a course-certified course which has begun today, and will have the subsequent sessions in next 3 months' time, so that people can be certified to take the music therapy as a part of the training and therapy for the neurological disorder. IFNR is the founder member of World Rehabilitation Alliance, which was formed by WHO, and we got the certification in July. IFNR is the only organization from India at the moment. And we are representing in 4 workforces. I'm one of them. And there are 8 members who have been part of the workforces who have monthly meeting, which include the emergency as well as others. And we have been doing a lot of work. Some of them, young members, are actively involved directly with the WHO. An emergency unit where the members are like Guhan and Hito, they've been very actively involved in the emergency services. So we are in fact working at the global level. IFNR also is an organization in the world today who has the privilege to do both Asian Oceanian Society of Neurorehab annual meeting as well as World Congress of Neurorehabilitation in 2018. And with the fund which we gave to the WFNR, we created another funding for the developing country by creating the fellowship of $1,000 each for 2 members to attend the World Congress Neurorehab. And in fact, the 1 member is from India and 1 from the other developing country across the world, and which is this year also the 2 have been selected who are going to present their paper in WCNR. IFNR also able to create a corpus in the Indian Academy of Neurology through the World Congress Neurology. And innovation in neurorehabilitation is an annual program where if you have done some innovation, you can present your work in the IN during the annual conference. Secretary announces that it is 1 lakh rupees by which 90,000 goes to your institution and 10,000 goes to you where you have the work. So there are ample of opportunity IFNR has created. We are committed to do the training, education, and we have been doing regular programs across the world. We are also the first to start the public forum for all the 9 neurodisability, which we started in 2018 World Congress, and we have been doing every year. So we not only tackle with the neurologists, other subspecialty, but also patients, caregiver, and the social worker. So this is a real integrated total rehabilitation what we are looking of. So I only urge you guys that there is an ample opportunity. There are a lot of advances are coming. Neurologists need to take lead. They need to take the support from the rehab team, formulate a rehab program and a rehab center along with their neurological hospital or stroke unit, and I think that will serve the society at large. With that note, I thank you all because you really have faith in us, and 850 delegates to come here and attend. It's a real achievement, and I thank Sunil for that, to take that. With that note, I thank you very much, and you have a pleasant learning for next 2 days. Thank you.
I know how much work goes into that. That, of course, also goes to Dr. Narayan, who was the chief of the organizing committee. I know that very well, how much work is related to that. Number 2, IFNR is probably the most active sub-organization of WFNR. And over these many years, I was glad to have Nirmal and Abhishek with me because they are highly motivated people, they are highly competent people, and they are always willing to do a good job. This is not true for everyone, to be honest. So for this, thank you very, very much again, which is very important. You have heard how much work is done by IFNR and the related organizations, and I'm also glad that there is a good relationship with the Indian Academy of Neurology. And in some sense, we are entering a new era of medicine. And I think the situation has never been as interesting as today. We have on the horizon a lot of really important innovations and changes in the field of medicine, not only rehabilitation, in the entire field of medicine. What I mentioned earlier, it's focalized precision medicine. It is the use of digitalization. It is the use of artificial knowledge. I wouldn't call it artificial intelligence. It's not really intelligent, it's knowledgeable. And these huge data storages offer us the possibility to make better decisions, and eventually, if we are keen enough and clever enough to use artificial intelligence, artificial knowledge, in a good way, then it will help us to secure resources, human resources, medics, therapists, psychologists, all we have here. We have a complete paucity of resources here, and artificial knowledge, artificial intelligence may help us with this. Another aspect is the advancement of genetics and the improvement in the availability of biomarkers. All of this, within the next 10 years, will give rise to dramatic changes in the medical field. And it's nice, well, I'm an old guy now, but I'm happy that I can still witness this. And it's really amazing, and it's really extremely promising. Let me say some words about the World Federation. As I mentioned, basically we have three pillars of work: increasing science, or augmenting science, augmenting services, and augmenting education. That works for many years in a very good way. We have multiple methods by which we try to do that. We have, every 2 years, we have a big international World Congress of Neurorehabilitation, which will be in Vancouver, Canada. This year, the next will be 2 years from now in Daegu in Korea. And after that, 2 years later, it will be in Cape Town in the Republic of South Africa. In addition, we have meetings in between in IFNR, for instance, I mentioned already, AOSN, the European Federation of Neurorehab Societies and others. So we have a very rich program of meetings with a important emphasis on two aspects. One is fresh information, fresh science, and the other is education in the form of workshops and other activities. The WFNR has today about 44 national societies. The number of national societies is steadily increasing, and the work of the Federation is structured in some sense by what we call special interest groups. Professor Tout from Canada is the capo di tutti capi, so the chief of all the SIG chairperson, and has the nice job and task to coordinate this. We have reduced the number of these special interest groups within the last couple of months to about 32 or 33 now, and we hope that that will strengthen out the work of these special interest groups. We have about 5,000 or so individual members in the World Federation. We are strictly multidisciplinary society. So we have medics, we have all sorts of therapists, we have psychologists, we have social workers, we have philosophers, we have theologists, and I think we also have some jurists in the meantime, because we are, of course, dealing with a multifaceted field. It was mentioned by people before, what we have to change is the burden of disease on this planet. And I want to go one step forward. We also have to broaden our view a little bit away from rehabilitation to brain health. And brain health is a much more comprehensive and much more appealing. It's not just only the repair shop, it's also the prevention. And when you look around the world, we are not doing very much, sufficiently much, for prevention. We are unable, obviously, to prevent wars. Wars are a terrible threat to human health, of course. And I was looking at the streets here in this marvelous city with all these motorbike drivers. And I was very, very impressed that almost none of them was wearing a helmet. So there is still ample space for better prevention. I do admit that this is a hotspot, as I mentioned earlier, so that may be related to this temperature situation. We are very happy that the World Health Organization, 2 years ago, in the World Health Assembly, has put up a new product. For years, WHO was primarily interested in communicable diseases. And even at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, WHO and the World Health Assembly made a decision to have an integrated global action plan on epilepsy and neurological disorders. That's the first time that neurology, in a strictest sense, became visible to the World Health Organization. And we are very happy about that, and we're also happy to cooperate in all of these activities. We work together, WFNR works together with a lot of other world-spanning bodies, the World Federation of Neurology, of course, the World Stroke Organization, and many others. I want to say that who of you is IFNR member? Nirmal is an IFNR member. No. Anyone else? Nirmal, I think there's a lot of work to be done. That's for sure. The good thing is, however, if you are IFNR member, you are automatically WFNR members. And being a WFNR member is not only a question of honor, it has a lot of interesting, let's say, benefits. You get free access to our international publication journal, you get reductions for the registration fees and things like that. So find out, first of all, to become IFNR member and then automatically become WFNR member. We have a beautiful membership program running. We'll talk about that tomorrow afternoon. And you're cordially invited to join us. Just look at the website, and it can certainly be beneficial. So that is more or less all I wanted to say. Let me again thank all of you very, very much indeed, and give these guys a big hand. I think they did a glorious job. Thank you.
There is a time when we are in medical school, we look at the biological concept of disease. We forget at that time that more than disease, what affects people's lives more is disability. And it is that part of human health or loss of human health that we want to deal with in rehabilitation, and in particular, neuro rehabilitation. It has always been important, so much so that we say rehabilitation is again a type of prevention, tertiary prevention, trying to restore people to their best of their functioning ability despite the presence of disease, despite the presence of after effects of a disease, and try to make them as functional as possible. And this has become even more important in recent years. In India, when we became independent in 1947, our life expectancy was 35 years. So even if you had a neurological disease, if you had a stroke or something else, you had only a few years to live. But now our life expectancy has more than doubled. It's more than 70 years over a period of nearly 75 years. We have had such a big gain. And now if anybody has a disease, whether it is in childhood or as an adult, obviously with aging, neurological diseases have increased. And more importantly, they live for many more years, and so it becomes even more important for us to look at the rehabilitation aspects. And the challenge is that these challenges that we face in neurorehabilitation are very varied. They are related to mobility, they are related to communication, speech, hearing, they are related to vision, they are related to, I'm a gastroenterologist, to me, restoring their swallowing and nutrition is an important issue in terms of rehabilitation of a person with a neurological disease. And then we have the psychological angles, we need psychiatrists, we need engineering solutions, and if we take it all together, it's quite a complex problem. However, fortunately, over the last several years, we have developed several techniques and we are able to apply those. And I think what I would like to focus in the remaining 3 or 4 minutes is how we in India need to think of neurorehabilitation slightly differently from the rest of the world. We know that neurorehabilitation has to be holistic, it has to be patient-centered, but we in India have certain special challenges or certain advantages. Fortunately for us, if I take the good things, we still have a fairly good family system, and presence of a family system, support system, makes it easier for us to work towards neurorehabilitation, because it's very difficult to do rehabilitation for a person who's alone or who does not have a younger support person. And we really need to look for methods where we can involve the family, we can involve younger people in the family. We also have a much lower divorce rate. So again, that's something that people have a partner. So I think we need to, our rehabilitation procedures have to be attuned to making use of this strength that we still have while it lasts in our country. I'm obviously cognizant that these also may not last very long, especially with smaller families and fewer sibs. We may have problems in the future. The second issue that we really need to pay attention is the cost. Many of the neurorehabilitation techniques are extremely costly, and we are an LMIC, a low and middle income, we are in the range of low and middle income country. We think very often that the public funds will be able to provide for everything. That's not going to be possible, and I think we need to keep costs in mind. Unfortunately, as we specialize, we generally think of more and more complex solutions. We want to do more and more, and that means more and more money. And it's not uncommon in our hospitals to see people being advised something very costly when they are not being able to afford simpler things which are much more essential and which are much more important for their life, and they are spending much more on treatment than what they should be. The third thing that we need to think of, that solutions cannot be purely around the patients. A lot of it needs societal solutions. Our roads, our footpaths are not really made for people who have neurological issues, who need neurorehabilitation, and use of any of those devices, assistive devices, whether this is wheelchair, whether it is even something as simple as a stick, it's very difficult in our setting. And I think we need to start paying attention when we construct, when we build. And that's something that we'll need to do in the country, because specialists will not be able to do anything unless we change the way our society functions. And finally, I think in a society such as ours, with limitation of funds and other issues, we'll have to pay particular emphasis on empathy aspects of when delivering neurorehabilitation, and also being cognizant about how much we should do when going and doing further, maybe going too far. While I say this, let me also tell you what neurorehabilitation can do. I'm sure many of you would have read last month about a gentleman, Paul Alexander, who passed away at the age of 78. For those of you who do not know, this person in Texas had polio at the age of 6 and lived 72 years while being on an iron lung. He learned how to use his neck muscles so as to get sufficient oxygen into his blood during the day so that he could be off the iron lung during the day, and went onto the machine only during the night when he was sleeping. So that's something that we can do. But then he went on to study law, he went on to write, he went on to lead a full life. We will have to be cognizant that when we do all this, we have to ensure that quality of life, and it should not be just rehabilitation so that a person is still not able to do much, and that should be our aim. With that, I think I've nearly finished my time. Thank you. I wish the conference all success. Thank you.
So now I request Dr. Guhan, Organizing Secretary of IFNR 2024.
Though the core of this conference still revolves around the essence that we have to plant the seed of the vitality and belief, and we will have to build the resilience of the IFNRCON 2024 stands testament to the routine collaborative efforts that has been pursued by the brain behind this IFNRCON, Dr. 𝐸𝐴 sir. And this brings the platform of this multidisciplinary team together, which includes neurologist, physiatrist, physiotherapist, occupational therapist, cognitive psychologist, speech and language pathologist, and orthotist alike, and bringing them together into one platform. And that has been a mammoth effort on the part of IFNR.
I'm the president of the World Federation for Neurorehabilitation, and it's always a pleasure to be in India with our friends here. It's a very good meeting, and we have a very good cooperation with the Indian Federation for Neurorehabilitation for many years. One of our major pillars of the worldwide organization, and I'm always happy to be here in India. I must say it's a little bit hot here, but nevertheless it's nice. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Nirmal, President of Indian Federation Neurorehabilitation and President of Asian Oceanian Society of Neurorehabilitation. IFNR has been organizing annual conference every year, and this is the 12th annual conference which is happening in Pondicherry, organized by Dr. Sunil Narayan and Guhan Ramamurthy. Pondicherry Institute, JIPMER, is one of the most dynamic institute. They have very advanced neuro rehab setup, and I'm extremely happy to see that more than 850 delegates have registered for this conference. All the workshops today were overflow. We have to in fact stop the registration. People were very keen to learn about the newer technology, be it botulinum toxin workshop or the robotic workshop or the pediatric workshop or the cognitive rehabilitation, which was in particularly more than 180 registration has happened, the vestibular workshop and the newer workshop like neuromodulation, BCI. Every workshop was very well subscribed. There were international and the national faculty who has been excellent. We had a collaboration with Switzerland Robotic Society. The Robert Reiner has done a workshop which was overflow, and people were keen to learn, and not only learn, they wanted to practice it. So I'm sure this conference is going to go a long way in educating and promoting the neurorehabilitation in this country. As you all know, the neurorehabilitation in this country is not yet taken off. People have to pay from their pocket. Insurance only cover for first few days, and rehabilitation require many times for years or even maybe lifelong. I think government need to take a initiation to have the insurance cover the neurorehabilitation so the more and more disability can be treated. Thank you.
I'm Michael Taut. I'm a professor in the Faculty of Music and the Faculty of Medicine at the University of Toronto. And this is actually my second National IFNR Congress. I was here keynote speaker in 2023, and I'm back on a very special mission to bring a certificate program in applied auditory neuroscience with a specialty in neurologic music therapy to the Indian neurorehabilitation scenario. And it's been a wonderful Congress so far. It's very highly attended. The people in my particular workshop were a great enthusiastic crowd. They wouldn't let us go, so we went from 3 hours to 4 hours, and then we had to be almost forceful to get them out of the room. So it's been a great experience, and I'm looking forward to the next 2 days.
Namaste, I'm Dr. Abhishek Srivastava. I'm Secretary of the IFNR. IFNR is a multidisciplinary body which includes memberships of neurology, neurosurgery, rehab physicians, orthopedic surgeons, psychologists, physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech pathologists, orthotists, social workers, all those who work in the field of neurorehab. So we represent an umbrella body of people who work in neurorehab. We do a conference every year. IFNRCON is one of them. We do a lot of academic activities every year, and we want to promote neurorehab in the country, the education, the service delivery, and research. And I hope this conference will spread the knowledge of neurorehab in southern India, as we have 10 fully booked workshops today. We have 4 parallel sessions for next 2 days with a lot of members and enthusiasm, and this will take neurorehab a long way forward in this part of the country. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Sunil Narayan. I'm the home neurologist here, working in JIPMER as the head of the Department of Neurology and Professor of Neurology for the last 25 years. So we built up the neurology department in JIPMER only after I joined as an associate professor. And during these years, we have built up a neurology department which is unique in the sense that under the umbrella of this department, we have a clinical training program called DM Neurology, a program of postdoctoral fellowships in neurology in stroke as well as in epilepsy. We also have an MSc Neurotechnology program and a BSc Neurotechnology program, and again a PhD Neurosciences as well. So the PhD courses are both in the neurobionics and the neurobiology, but both are fundamentally related to helping patients with major neurological diseases in rehabilitating, if not curing them. So the Department of Neurology's development here has actually led us to get patients from all over, not only Pondicherry but also the neighboring states of Tamil Nadu and Kerala and Orissa. And what we have seen is that a lot of patients who are disabled by neurological diseases, they do not know what kind of options are available to them in making their life better, not only in the therapeutic options, but also of the various social support schemes which are provided by the Government of India. The Government of India is doing actually quite a good job in facilitating supportive schemes such as free bus transport for the patient and half the rates for the a caretaker, and it's the same in trains. And there are concessional rates in air travel, and in many jobs they have reservations, and there are people who take care of disabled people get income tax benefits, and of course there is a very active legal system which makes sure that those who are eligible for jobs are not denied of the job just because they have a disability, if that disability does not directly intervene with the job which they are expected to do. And right from school days, there is one of the important themes of this conference was on child rehabilitation, specific learning disorders. We had a very special symposium, and there is a problem with dealing with these children, and there are ways of means of taking care of them, and but we need to have accredited specialists and schools to take care of them. We have technology for the advancement and the for rehabilitation as the special theme, but technology which is affordable, technology which is accessible, and which is comfortable with the patient, and providing that is the theme of this conference. And under the inspiration of a world leader in neuro rehabilitation, Professor 𝐓𝐻𝐻𝐿, as well as our own Indian Federation of Neuro Rehabilitation's President Dr. 𝐵𝐻𝐿, and Dr. Abhishek, and the other leading neuro rehabilitation specialists like Professor Michael Todd, who has a special interest in music as a treatment form. We have seen a wide variety of programs here, including the Indian flavor, adding to that, exploring the Indian systems of treatment, yoga, Ayurveda, Siddha, how they help in neuro rehabilitation. That's again another very special section. There are sessions on robotics. So this is a very kaleidoscopic view of presentation of scientific achievements of the state of the art to all aspiring young enthusiastic rehabilitation specialists. I'm very happy to hoist this in Pondicherry and to welcome all our very learned faculty and our leaders to this town, along with a record number of delegates of around 850.
எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம். என் பேர் டாக்டர் குஹன் ராமமூர்த்தி. நான் வந்து ஒரு நரம்பியல் நிபுணர். IFNRCON 2024 அப்படின்ற கான்ஃபரன்ஸோட ஆர்கனைசிங் செக்ரட்டரி. IFNR அப்படின்றது இந்தியன் ஃபெடரேஷன் ஆஃப் நியூரோ ரீஹாபிலிட்டேஷன் அப்படின்ற ஆர்கனைசேஷன். இதோட பிரசிடெண்ட் வந்து டாக்டர் நிர்மல் சூர்யா. இதே மாதிரி இந்த இந்தியன் ஃபெடரேஷன் ஆஃப் நியூரோ ரீஹாபோட செக்ரட்டரி டாக்டர் அபிஷேக் ஸ்ரீவஸ்தவா சார். இவங்க ரெண்டு பேரும் தலைமையில் இந்த IFNR இயங்கி வருது. டாக்டர் நிர்மல் சூர்யா சார் தலைமையில் இந்த IFNR டீம் இயங்கி வருது. இதேபோல் நரம்பியல் சங்கத்தில் இந்தியன் அகாடமி ஆஃப் நியூராலஜி அப்படின்னு சொல்லக்கூடிய சங்கத்தில் ஒரு பிரிவு நியூரோ ரீஹாப் சப்செக்ஷன், நரம்பியல் மறுவாழ்வு, அதனுடைய பிரிவிலையும் இந்த ரெண்டு சங்கங்கள், அதாவது IFNR, அதுக்கப்புறம் நரம்பியல் மறுவாழ்வு பிரிவு இந்தியன் அகாடமி ஆஃப் நியூராலஜியில் இருந்து சேர்ந்து ரெண்டு பேரும் நடத்துகிற இந்த ஜாயிண்ட் கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் தான் இந்தியன் ஃபெடரேஷன் ஆஃப் நியூரோ ரீஹாபிலிட்டேஷன் கான்ஃபரன்ஸ். இது 12வது ஆண்டில் இப்போ நடந்து வருது. இது ஒரு இந்திய அளவிலையும் உலக அளவிலையும் பெரிய அளவில் நடந்துட்டு வர ஒரு கான்ஃபரன்ஸ். இந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸ்க்கு ஜெர்மனிலேருந்து, கனடாவிலேருந்து, சிங்கப்பூர்லேருந்து, ஆஸ்திரேலியாவிலேருந்து, மலேசியாவிலேருந்து நம்மளுக்கு ஃபேக்கல்ட்டி சொல்லிக் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு வராங்க. இது இல்லாமல் தேசிய அளவில் இந்தியன் ஃபெடரேஷன் ஆஃப் நியூரோ ரீஹாப் பிரசிடெண்ட் டாக்டர் நிர்மல் சூர்யா சார், நம்மளோட இந்தியன் அகாடமி ஆஃப் நியூராலஜி டாக்டர் தேபாஷிஷ் சௌத்ரி சார், அதுக்கப்புறம் இந்தியன் அகாடமி ஆஃப் நியூராலஜியோட செக்ரட்டரி டாக்டர் யூ மீனாட்சி சுந்தரம் சார், எல்லாரும் இந்த இனாகுரேஷன் ஃபங்க்ஷனில் நம்ம டைரக்டர் சார் டாக்டர் ராகேஷ் அகர்வால் சார், ப்ரொஃபஸர் ஓல்கர் ஹோம்பர்க் சாரோட இந்த இனாகுரேஷன் ஃபங்க்ஷனில் பங்கேற்றாங்க. இந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் வந்து இப்போ இதோட ஆர்கனைசிங் சேர் வந்து டாக்டர் சுனில் நாராயண் சார். டாக்டர் சுனில் நாராயண் சார், நான் ஆர்கனைசிங் செக்ரட்டரி சாரும் நானும் சேர்ந்து இந்த தடவை இந்தியன் ஃபெடரேஷன் ஆஃப் நியூரோ ரீஹேப் தலைமையிலையும் இந்தியன் அகாடமி ஆஃப் நியூராலஜி நியூரோ ரீஹேப் சப்செக்ஷன் தலைமையிலையும் இந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸை நடத்தி வந்தோம். இந்த வருடத்தில் இதோட தீம் என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ரீஷேப்பிங் நியூரோ ரீஹேப் த்ரூ டெக்னாலஜி. அப்படின்னா இந்த டெக்னாலஜி மூலமாக இந்த நியூரோ ரீஹாபிலிட்டேஷனை எப்படிலாம் நம்ம மேம்படுத்தலாம் அப்படின்ற தீமில் 3 நாட்களாக இதில் நிறையா டாபிக்ஸ் நடந்து வந்து கொண்டிருக்கிறது. முதல் நாளில் 10 ஒர்க் ஷாப் இருந்தது, ஹேண்ட்ஸ் ஆன் ஒர்க் ஷாப். அண்ட் ரெண்டாவது நாள்லேயும் 3வது நாள்லேயும் 4 பேரலல் ஹால்ஸில் நிறையா லெக்சர்ஸ் எல்லாருக்கும் புரிகிற மாதிரி நடக்குது. இதுக்கு உலகெங்கிலும் இருந்து இதுக்கு வந்து பங்கேற்கிறாங்க. இந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் வந்து நியூராலஜிஸ்ட், ஃபிசியாட்ரிஸ்ட், ஃபிசியோதெரபிஸ்ட், ஆக்குபேஷனல் தெரபிஸ்ட், காக்னிட்டிவ் சைக்காலஜிஸ்ட், ஸ்பீச் அண்ட் லாங்குவேஜ் பெத்தாலஜிஸ்ட், ஆர்த்தாட்டிஸ்ட் எல்லாரும் இப்படி ரீஹாபிலிட்டேஷனில் சம்மந்தப்பட்ட அனைத்து மெம்பர்ஸ், பீடியாட்ரிஷியன், ஆர்த்தோபெடிஷியன் எல்லாரும் பங்கேற்று பயனடையக்கூடிய ஒரு கான்ஃபரன்ஸ். இந்த வருடத்தில் இதில் 850 பேர் 850 ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன்ஸ் இருந்து இந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய சக்ஸஸை அடைந்துள்ளது. இந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் இன்னும் இந்த 2 நாள் நடந்து அனைவருக்கும் பயனளிக்கும்.